Brett Lernout?
Yeah.
Well, we made that trade to move up. We wanted to make sure that we got a chance to draft Brett. He's a big, strong, strapping defenseman. He's tough as nails, and has a heavy shot. I looked at the teams picking in front of us, and I thought there was a good chance that he wouldn't be there, that he'd be selected if we had stayed and used our third-round pick. So that's why we moved up to draft him. We wanted to add some size on defense and his type, so he was a good fit for us there.
Guy comes right out of left field, Koberstein.
Koberstein was a guy we went under the radar. We had our fingerprints all over. We spent some time with him after the season, and I think this guy has good upside and long-range projection. He's a great kid and tons of character, but he's a good hockey player too.
He's committed to Alaska Fairbanks. Will you try to? Will he play junior possibly?
Well, he'll come to our development camp next week, and we'll go from there. But he's a guy. He's a 5-year player. We call. He's going to go back. The plan is right now he'll go back to Olds. He'll be the captain. He'll be the leader. He'll play there another year and then go the NCAA route where he would have 4 years. So it's a 5-year potential commitment on him.
Last year you seemed so ecstatic after the draft. I know you had a lot more selections.
Yeah, no kidding.
How would you grade the way your draft team performed this year?
Well, I think it's gonna take time. It'll take a few years before we know how well we did here at this draft, as it always does. But this year, if you take a look at our picks in every round, and they're pretty late. So the asset value of the picks that we had weren't near as high as last year or the year before. So, that's why we had to make that trade in the third to move up, and we had to wait our turn pretty long in each round. So I'll tell you in a few years down the road, but we're happy with the guys we got. They're guys we targeted, and we still had guys left on the list that we wanted to draft.
What can you
Hockey, another 5-year player?
Yeah, he's another 5-year player, back to Omaha. He was the USHL Goaltender of the Year and committed to Providence, so he's like money in the bank.
Evans, is he also going to college? Or?
Evans is at Notre Dame right now, taking school and training there. And we would have 4 years on him. He's a centerman from St. Mike's of the OJ, and he was a tremendous underage last year, and we really like what we saw in him. He's a a skilled center with great playmaking ability.
Can you tell us about that a little bit in the whole process? It's quite interesting because of his father.
Yeah, well, his father, we took Donald right out of the equation. In all our draft meetings, any discussions, we asked Donald to leave the room, and we talked about that. And, at the press conference on Thursday, I talked about, we want to get bigger, stronger, faster, but at the same time, if there's a player that's undersized there and he's a good hockey player, then it's hard to pass. That's the situation here with Daniel. And similar to a Brendan Gallagher in his draft year, you simply can't go by a player with that much ability. And I know it's going to be tough, and I hope you guys aren't too tough on Daniel or Donald, for him to play and for him to be picked by the Montreal Canadiens and be part of our organization here. So, he was pretty emotional when he came to the table, and he said that, we wouldn't regret it. And so he's very passionate. He's driven. He's an undersized guy, but he's thick and strong. And he's got that tenacity and grit that it takes for a player, an undersized player, to succeed.
Based on merit.
It's totally based on merit. I mean, we even had asked Donald to spend the day until his son was drafted in the stands with him and his wife.
Were you surprised he was still available?
Yeah, very surprised.
Does bloodlines come into play at all as a scout? Like, is that something you look at? Like, the father was a good NHLer, so perhaps the genes are passed on?
Some people look at that. I don't like to put a lot of stock into that. So it's based on what we see on the ice and the upside. I mean, if everybody who has kids, do they always listen to their dad? No.
Sure back though. We heard from Mark yesterday, but what made him so enticing for you?
Well, he's got tremendous skill and offensive hockey sense. He's a player with a lot of flair, and we see him as a top 2-line projection. Whether or not he gets there, we think we tried to hit a home run there. He's a player with a lot of talent, but he also has a lot of character and personality. We like the way he plays more of a North American style.
Were you surprised to see?
Yeah, we don't like to compare players, but I guess on some website they posted a picture of him and a picture of Galchenyuk in Galchenyuk's draft year, and they look like twins.
Were you surprised?
So facially they look similar.
Were you surprised?
And they skate similar.
Were you surprised to see that he was still there at 26?
Who was that, Sherbak? I had in the back of my mind that he may be a guy that we valued a lot more than a pick 26 that may be available because of the Russian factor.
Did his personality jump out as quickly to you as he did to us yesterday?
Not quite as quickly to us as you, but we liked what we saw on the ice and all the information we gathered all season. I mean, he was a great teammate. The coaches loved him, and he had that personality and drive and the want and will to play here.
He got 70 points last year with a really bad team. It's even more impressive to see the number he put on.
I think that's, that's a good projection. It's difficult if he played on the Portland Winterhawks, or some or a team like that. We probably have a lot more points.